Okay, we just changed the positioning of these two. We're going to press shift and left click, and that will copy the notes. Then we'll press control and down, and maybe we'll bring these there. Then we went to A, has D, F, and A. If I hold control, left click and highlight A. If I press Control and down, we're still using the note A, but it's further down in the scale. So we're going to get a bit of a different sound. So I'm feeling that. If we undo that, you could try this one, maybe that as well. And it's all about experimenting. Same chord progression, but you get a different vibe. And then to thicken up the sound, you could take the root notes, which are the first notes in the chord. So remember, we chose D minor, then we went to A sharp, and then A. We just changed the positioning of these two. We're going to press Shift and left click, and that will copy the notes. Then we'll press Control and down, and maybe we'll bring these two back down as well. And now we've got some bass. Right? So most melodies will have 3 layers. You'll have some bass covering the low end, you'll have the chords covering the midsection, and then you'll build out some sort of counter melody on top. And with counter melodies, there's really no rules. You're just going to have to experiment and see what sounds right to you. That's why I recommended highlighting a scale, because if you stick within the scale, there's a good chance it's going to sound right. For example, let's just click some random notes in, drag that out, maybe to the end, and then just 2 more here. Now we've got a top line too. That sounds right. Some useful techniques for top lines is to use notes that are already with. Within the chord, so you can see the F sounds right there because we're using F in the chord. Same with A sharp there. G is not in that chord, but still sounded right. But E and A are. But again, there's no rules with counter melodies. You don't have to start at the beginning. You can start wherever, and it's all about trial and error. Another thing you could do is highlight the chords, press Shift and click to copy them, Control and up to bring them up an octave, and then press Alt and A. And this is going to bring up the arpeggiator, which will break up the chord. So for example, we could bring this range up. We could change it from normal to flip to alternate, and then you can increase the amount of notes. So for example, just an easy way to get a quick counter melody. I want to make something a bit darker. So I'm going to start with the D minor chord. To make a dark melody, you just don't want to change the progression too much. For example, we could press Control and A, then Control and B to copy it. Bring this one down. Too much. For example, we could press Control and A, then Control and B to copy it. Bring this one down. Maybe we'll bring these 2 down. Bring everything up. We'll just start building a melody. Also, if you press C, it's going to activate the slice tool, which you can access from up here. Then if you left click and drag down, you can make cuts. So this will separate the 2. So then it plays twice. And then press P to go back to the draw tool. It's also useful if you notice it too long. You can hit C, Shift, right click, and that's going to trim the smallest end. Smallest end. useful if your notes are too long. Then you left click and so if you press C, it's going to activate the slice tool, which you can access from up here. Then if you left click and drag down, you can make cuts. So activate the everything up. So we'll just start building a melody. Also, if you press C, it's going to activate the slice tool, which you can access from up here. Then if you left click and drag down, you can make cuts. So this will separate the two. So then it plays twice, and then press P to go back to the draw tool. It's also useful if your notes are too long. You can hit C, Shift, right click, and that's going to trim the smallest end. Bring that back. If you're pressing Ctrl and B to copy and it's doing something like this, it means you haven't got the right area highlighted. So you could just right click and then highlight the section from up here. We've got 2 bars highlighted, and we can see that because it's going from 1 to 3. Press Ctrl and B, it's going to copy it, and we can change something in this section. Could bring this up. Got the right area highlighted, and we can see that because it's going right click and then highlight the section from up here. We've got 2 bars highlighted, and we can see that because it's going from 1 to 3. Press Ctrl and B, it's going to copy it, and we can change something in this section. Could bring this up. And then just make one more cut there. There we go. I'm going to add some bass notes in. So we could do it here or an octave down. Just see what sounds right. I think something like this. There we go. If I really wanted to thicken that up, I could copy these up an octave. So I'm feeling this now. Now you might notice it's sounding a little bit robotic, and that's because everything's being played at the same velocity and everything's perfectly in time, which obviously that wouldn't happen if it was someone actually playing a piano. So there's some shortcuts we can use. We can press Alt and R, and this will bring up the randomizer. If it's looking like that, just turn pattern off and just bring the velocity down, and you can see at the bottom here that we're getting more of a natural or random velocity, which is the volume. Or essentially how hard the piano is being played. If we press Alt and S, it's going to strum the piano. So instead of the notes playing at exactly the same time, it's going to increase it gradually. So instead of, it's going to be more like, and you can bring up the intensity here. And I like to use preserve ends so they don't overlap. You can also do that by manually moving some of them off grid. And to do that, I usually hold Alt, left click, and then drag. You can do that with the velocity as well. So you could hold Control left click to highlight a note and then use Alt and the mouse wheel to turn down the velocity, or from this section here. But don't worry too much about that now. Just get used to making some melodies. So for the most part, you'll want to start with a 4-bar pattern, and you can see that from the numbers up here going from 1 to 5. And then for some variation, we could press Control and B to make it an 8-bar pattern, and then just change something in this section. For example, we could just add some more notes here. See how this sounds. There we go. Don't worry about making your first melody amazing. Just play with some different scales and chord progressions, and then once you have the sound that you like, we can either change the instrument, layer it, or start processing them. So if I go back to the channel rack, I might want to add another top line like a violin. So let's open Flex because Flex is a stock plugin. We'll go to Essential Strings. I will just use the violin sustain. It. Before we start building a melody, to actually install the sounds that you've downloaded, just hit F10 and then go to File, or you can click Options and then File. Song mode, it will play anything in the playlist.
Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make ambient music like
What is up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to make some really cool ambient abstract pads, like some of the ones I made in my super pack, which sound like these. So first thing I'm going to do is open up some kind of plugin. I'm thinking maybe a piano. Let's turn reverb off, and let's create some random type of pattern. Let's make it a little more weird. Alright,
Maybe I can speak as like a whisper. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This instrument is so interesting. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Most interesting indeed. Hmm. Okay, let's try it. Hmm. This is hard. Maybe delete that one. Why does it give me plugins that I can't use?
When we get to arranging beats, you'll see that you can
Why is everything so... um, 6:30 a.m.
Add patterns within the playlist and build out the full song there. But if you're building something in the playlist and you realize it's not actually playing, then it's probably because you've got pattern mode activated. If you have this button checked, it's the metronome. So this is going to give you a click on every beat. Some sounds that you've downloaded, just hit F10 and then go to File, or you can click Options.
No, I did not hear what it says.
And then File Settings, and any folder that you add within this section will show up in the browser. For example, if you're saving all of your sound,
Um, um, Options. Settings. It's not what I meant to look at.
To something like 90, which is good for boom. Within this section will show up in the browser. For example, if you saving all of your sounds on the desktop, just click this folder, go to desktop, and then select folder. Once you come out of that, you're just going to need to hit in this section to file, or you in a melody. To actually install the sounds that you've downloaded, just hit F10 and then go to file, or you can click options and then file settings, and any folder that you add within this section will show up in the browser. For example, if you're saving all of your sounds on the desktop, just click this folder, go to desktop, and then select folder. Once you come out of that, you're just going to need to hit refresh. Folder, go to desktop in the browser. For example, if you're saving all of your sounds on the desktop, just click this folder, go to desktop, and then select folder. Once you come out of that, you're just going to need to hit refresh. You can also right click on one of these and then select open, and this will show you the directory. So these packs
Let's see. Is this a full song that I just downloaded? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I want that. Okay, we can just select that.
actually come with FL Studio. So if you wanted to keep all of your downloaded sounds within that, you might just want to create a new folder.
Hello. I don't know what to do. I'm a bit lost. Yes, I've decided against it. Against not speaking. Yeah, I just don't know, like where, like aimless, like directionless, like I don't know where to take this music thing, but I'll keep trying. Hmm. Um, yeah, that's the thing. I should really model my song, or what I want to make after like some other music and take direct inspiration. Because
You can see that because it's going from 1 to 3. Press Control and B. It's going to copy it. And we can change something in this section. Could bring this up. And then just make one more cut there. There we go. I'm going to add some bass
Thank
notes
you.
in. So we could do it here or an octave down. Just see what sounds right. I think something like this. There we go. If I really wanted to thicken that up, could copy these up an octave. So I'm feeling this now. Now you might notice it's sounding a little bit robotic, and that's because everything's being played at the same velocity and everything's perfectly in time, which obviously that wouldn't happen if it was someone actually playing a piano. So there's some shortcuts we can use. We can press Alt and R, and this will bring up the randomizer. If it's looking like that now, make it chord progressions, and then once you have the sound that you like, we can either change the instrument, layer it, or start processing them.
What other instruments can I make? And I doubt I can see this. Oh, I can see this. That's so interesting. I might in-stream, or I don't know.
In this 4.5-hour beginner music producer course, you're going to learn everything you need to know to start making your own music in FL Studio. Whether this is your first video on making music or you've been already producing for a few months, this will be the most important 4 hours you're going to experience, even if you've already took other courses or tried learning on your own. My name is Max, founder of mixelite.com, where for years we've been teaching millions of producers online and turning no-name bedroom producers into hit makers. If you stick by, follow along with this course, and download all the resources you'll find in the first link below, I promise that by the end of this course, FL Studio will be your second nature. You'll be turning ideas into real music like it's a game. You'll be able to write your own fresh sounding
Crisis on Infinite Earth. No, what is it about? Sounds like a comic. Let me look it up. Crisis on... No? Oh wait. What? No. I have not. Interesting. I haven't read a lot of DC. Or wait, sorry, I meant Marvel. I get them mixed up. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing.
Give me just 60
Oh my God. Who are my favorite characters? I think wait, it was like, I think you've asked this before, and I said like Supergirl, right? Um, I also like Batman. I know that's pretty generic, but like, I really think that like, it creates some really dark tones in the... Sorry, I'm doing something off screen right now, where I'm like, extracting. Yeah, I did. That one was really good.
chords and melodies, program amazing sounding drums, arrange your ideas into
Really? Wow. What makes you say that?
full songs, record and mix vocals, and then mix and master your track until you have a full song ready to be released on Spotify or YouTube. So clear your schedule, put your phone away, and turn this video full screen because you're about to master with data structured. Because every day, so right computer, music production apps, and all the virtual instruments and effects are quite heavy to run. You'll likely be fine for the coming months with your current setup, but what I need you to look for is CPU with highest single processor core speed and amount of RAM. So if you're upgrading CPU, look for at least Intel good to go. Like a good pair and bass through mid frequencies to high frequencies. We want our headphones.
You like Wonder Woman? Oh, I haven't read much Wonder Woman, so I wouldn't know. That's really cool. I like literally haven't read anything with her in it. I'm so sorry. But I think that'll change, because I'm going to read The Flash, something involving The Flash within the next week. I'll have to see where that takes me. And I don't know if the Wonder Woman is involved with that, but like, I should be reading more comics within the coming months because of my club thing.
To not colorize any of these parts, because the goal is to make sure that the music we make translates well to other playback systems like car stereo, laptops, or earbuds. They also should have good imaging, so how clearly you can tell where each sound is coming from, like knowing the guitar is on the left and the cymbals are on the right. So when looking for headphones, keep these two factors in mind, but inside today's downloads, you'll find a list of headphones we recommend for every budget. That's all the necessary hardware you need to make music. Believe it or not, everything else is totally optional, but there are still few things that you'll find on most home studio desks. First is an audio interface. You'll need one if you want to connect your PC with your microphone or speakers, which in music production world we call studio monitors. If you just want to record up to 2 inputs, like a guitar and a vocal at the same time, a 2-input audio interface will be enough. Again, as here with you. Alright, you've got the gear. Now what we call the most popular one. Each DAW is made out as far as
I'm trying to figure out like what I'm supposed to do. You dislike The Flash? Oh my god, I really like the TV show. Like, well, at least the first seasons of it. Like the one that came out in like 2015? Or like mid 2010s, I don't know.
as you want it to, and if you'll ever want to change, it's just a matter of days. Each of these can also now when we start to make the is that since for the layout your own to create with. But first thing you'll notice on the left side of the screen is the browser. Think of it like an
Don't be sorry.
big components library for your song. By default, you'll see the FL Cloud over here, which is a subscription product offered by FL, which you definitely don't need right now. So let's go over to all. You'll see here many different folders, but you'll mainly use this area to drag and drop individual sounds into your project, like drum hits. We music producer call them samples. The ones that come by default in FL Studio, you'll find inside the folder packs. So you can definitely ignore everything else other than that. Inside you'll find many different sounds. And the main place of your project is the playlist. This is where we put all the pieces together in time. And if you click around, you'll notice that you're placing down so-called patterns. Patterns are like building blocks.
I don't know what I'm doing at all. Getting out of it, getting out of it, getting out of it, getting out of sleep once more. Sorry.
Of your music. A pattern can have drums, melodies, bass lines, or any combination of sounds. And you can use the same pattern as many times in your song as you want. And if you double click the pattern, you'll open up the channel rack. This is the third key window in FL Studio, and here's where you create patterns. By default,
I like comics because they need concepts. Oh, yeah, that's really neat. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense why you don't like Batman, because he doesn't have any superpowers. Part of why I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was for that reason too. It was really creative, and like its application of its like, it was really bizarre. Which I know is obvious, but like, it really is like strange, and like how it develops its like power system once part 3 starts.
default, you should see a few channels preloaded already for you in the channel rack. Each channel has so-called step sequencer. With left click, you can add
That's so valid. That's so valid. That's so valid.
those at random like this. And with spacebar, you can start playing. and with right click you can delete. Pretty quick and intuitive, right? Technically you can make them infinitely long, but watch what happens in the playlist. It actually just repeats itself because
My goodness. I don't feel like doing anything now. Anything at all. Um, damn, I'm not making any music at all. Wasn't there like another? There's like another thing, right? No? Oh shit. No, no, it's not because of its lack of superpowers. I really think its stories are totally my taste. I think that it's just like a... That's so funny. It's actually so funny. I love that for you. I love that you can like be what's the word? So strong? No, wait. No. So um solid in your values and like no, wait. There's a specific word and I'm blinking so hard. So sure of what you want. Like that's really neat.
we have the same pattern over and over placed like this, right? Inside the playlist, you also delete by right click. So we have two different types of elements. We have samples that mainly are just for drums, and we also have virtual instruments, which is this flex bass over here. Let's try to add it like this. The problem is that in the step sequencer, we can only see steps, the rhythm basically, right? All virtual instruments like this one have some kind of settings. To open it up, just click on the name and it will show
Click
up. Pretty
on the name.
intimidating at first, but all of those gives you some kind of control over how this sound sounds. And it's definitely not as complicated as you might think. Since it's a melodic instrument, we should be able to make it play different pitch as well. That's what you can do by clicking a different keys on your keyboard. This virtual instrument, or VST plugin as we call it, is called Flex. It's a stock FL Studio.
Okay, I'm tired of all these fucking... I'm tired of all these fucking tutorials. I'm deleting this. What was I trying to do? Oh yes. What was SafeUpW's LLL Fort? Wait. Okay. It was LLL Fort Light. LLL Light FL Studio. Uh, I'm actually planning to read a comic that includes Batman and other heroes I dislike. I'm only reading it because the story looks interesting. Well, please, I hope you enjoy it. Genuinely. Plus, studio, you can't see me, but ambient. Awesome. How do I remember? Sorry, I'm doing so much at once. It's kind of intimidating. Um, how to import Venus to that's Sorry, I'm doing so much stuff off screen. It's not even funny. Um, not about powerful. Oh, that's neat. I should do the same. Like, and also I want to write my own stories that do the same. Because like I don't really have a or well, I kind of do, but like I want to I want to have like develop a better power system. Sorry, I'm just like looking for. Um, I'm a nice person. Wow, thank you, Sashin. Thank you. I think you are too. I'm just trying to figure out. I think you might not be able to. Can you use Elmo? Oh, hi, Moki. Um, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Um, I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I have a feeling, given that the lack of results, you might not be able to just use tunnel for like um and
Hey guys, so in this video, I just want to quickly run through the best way to install VST plugins in FL Studio 20 and just quickly run through another method to try if the usual way of doing it isn't working as well. So let's assume you've downloaded a plugin onto your computer. Most plugins come with an installer which saves the plugin somewhere in your C drive. Usually in this common files folder.
okay, let's go to the common files folder.
Or in the Steinberg folder in your program files. However, 99% of the time, you don't need to worry about this. FL Studio will just find the plugin for you. So to actually open and use the plugin inside FL Studio, go to Add up here and select Manage Plugins. This will bring up a list of plugins you've already installed in FL Studio. And if we click Find Plugins up here, FL Studio will search your computer for new plugins it hasn't come across before. Once it's done searching, we can then scroll down the list and the plugin will show up in yellow. Or if you prefer, you can use in and use the plugin in Studio. We'll just find Studio, go list of plugins, Add up here and select
Add. Select what? Which plugins?
Manage Plugins. This will bring up a list of plugins you've already installed in FL Studio. And if we click Find Plugins up here, FL Studio will search your computer for new plugins it hasn't come across before.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Once it's done searching, we can then scroll down the list and the plugin will show up in yellow. Or if you prefer, you can use the search bar to search for the plugin. Now all we need to do is star this plugin and it will now be available to use inside FL Studio. So now we can just go to Add and here is our new plugin. However, this method only searches these folders listed down here. If you've installed your plugins in a So now we can just go to Add, and here is our new
Add. Wait, what? Effect? Where is it though?
plugin. However, this method only searches these folders listed down here. If you've installed your plugins in a custom folder on your computer, you'll need to add that folder to this list so FL Studio knows it needs to search there as well. So we can do this by just clicking this plus symbol up here and select the folder that you've saved the plugin in. Now if we click Find Plugins again, FL Studio will now search it needs to search there as well. Installed your plugins in a custom folder FL Studio. So now we can just go to Add, and here is our new plugin. However, this method
I don't know what I'm looking for. I thought it was a synth too. Did it not say it was a synth?
method only searches these folders listed down here. If you've installed your plugins in a custom folder on your computer, you'll need to add that folder to this list so FL Studio knows it needs to search there as well. So we can do this by just clicking this plus symbol up here and select the folder that you've saved the plugin in. Now, if we click Find Plugins again, FL Studio will now search all these plugins, including your specified folder as well. One last thing to mention, so occasionally this method doesn't work for some reason, and FL Studio just can't seem to find certain plugins in custom folders. I don't know why this is, but the best way to fix it is to find the VST file for the plugin on your computer and drag it into this common files folder. When you do this, Windows will then tell you you need admin permission to add the file. So if we just click continue, and now if I do another search, FL Studio should be able to find the file and you can just load up the plugin straight away. It's as simple as that. So I know it's a short video today.
Where is it? Oh, there. I found it. But why does it look different on the other screen? Wait, where is the freaking playlist? I'm going to just... Oh. I'm not hearing anything. Okay, it's fine. Delete. It was vital.
tracks, then just let me know in the comments below. Before getting into the actual track itself, 2 general tips I want to give is, firstly, if you're making these sort of longer tracks, I think it's helpful to have a kind of reference of a piece that you like, just because it'll allow your song or your track to feel more like a story is being told. So for instance, I used Kevin Penkin's piece Gravity for this one. And then the other tip is just to use dynamics to make your orchestral instruments sound more realistic. So for instance here, if we just take this random part of the song, over here we have the dynamics that are being changed, which is basically like, sort of like, you know, how loud or expression like the instrument is being played. So like if I put it up all the way like this, you'll hear it sounds a lot different to that, where it sounds like a lot more natural and like someone is really playing it, and also like gradually going up in volume. And real quick, if you are curious how to get it like this on your FL Studio, I'm sure it's pretty similar in other DAWs. If you go to BBC Symphony Orchestra, which is what I use here, but any orchestral plugin will have...
What is it? BBC Symphony Orchestra. Okay. Mm-hmm.
something for dynamics. If you just play around with it, then go Tools, Last Tweaked, and click Edit Events, it should appear over here, and then you can click Alt and just play around with it with your mouse. Okay.
Tools. Edit events. What was it?
So starting here, and then you can click Alt and click Edit Events. Just play around with it, then go Tools, Last Tweaked, and click Edit Events. It should appear over here, and then you can click Alt and just play around with it with your mouse. Okay, so starting off with this first section, I made this simple melody using the flute.
Bruh. Do I really have to cite him?
I talk a lot about free plugins and effects on this channel, and one that keeps
Dude, why does every program like make you have to like sign up with your email. Sorry. It's just it was like showing my address, so I just wanted to be sure that nothing would fail it on accident. Sorry, I'm being too loud. Rah, 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 rah. Oh my god, it worked. Rah!
Sustain patch from BBC Symphony Orchestra, which sounds like this. It's first section, and just click edit event. If you just play, which is what I use here, but any orchestral plugin will have something for dynamics. If you just play around with it, then go tools, last tweaked, and click edit events, it should appear over here, and then you can click alt and just play around with it with your mouse. Okay, so starting off with this first section, I made this simple melody using the flute sustain patch from BBC Symphony Orchestra, which sounds like this.
I don't understand what I'm doing. I don't understand. Rah! Ah! low. Oh my god.